Happy Friday morning, Chris.
Good morning, Dave. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. So
likewise.
This week's live then. So we're going to be going into, what not to do, all the mistakes people are making. And I know, Dave, you've got a bit of a presentation to share with our viewers as well. And, just before we get started, if people are tuning in now, if you can just show us that you're watching just by hitting like or hitting the love button below, and maybe just drop a comment. Where are you based right now? Where are you coming from? Where are you watching us from? If you can share that, it's great for us to see where in the country people are actually watching this from. So even some of you are watching this live right now. This will be replayed as well. So in some cases, I know people are going to be watching the replay, which is great, but still drop your comments below. So I like to see where people are in the country. And there's a lot of things that we're going to be working on in future weeks and months. So all location based. So yeah, that'll be useful. So all good in the hood. So we've got about 45 minutes today. We're going to include a Q&A session as well. So if you want to save up your questions and drop them in the comments box as well. But let's make this as interactive as possible. So let us know what you're going through right now. Let it, drop us any questions in here. We'll either answer it as we're going through or at the end. Or at the very least, what I'll do is I'll reach out to you after the live as well, just to, we'll have a chat. Anything that you need help with, we're here for. So
yeah, help once you've bought properties and you're looking to buy properties, what you can do to learn from our mistakes and maybe not repeating. And if you've got any questions about anything all the way through, well, I think we'll have plenty of time for questions. Just reach out on in the comment button below, as Chris mentioned, and we'll make sure that we answer all the questions that you've got. Okay, so I've got a few slides here that'll help maybe sort of direct this. If I can share this, Chris. Yep,
you're good to go, my friend.
Okay, so share screen. Here we go. Okay, slideshow from beginning. Okay, yeah, so I'm David Coughlin, CEO National Residential. And this Facebook Live today is about what not to do and making the best decisions. So I think one of the topics was like it's like, what have been my property decisions? So I've been almost full-time in property since 2003. I was a couple of years part-time while I was working in my day job, and then I gave it up, and then I've been full-time since about 2005, which is quite a long time. Still love it, still enjoying it, still making lots of good decisions, and still hopefully avoiding the bad ones, but you can't get it right all of the time. So like over that time, was that like 18 years, what have I done? I purchased the right properties and I purchased the wrong properties. Remember my business partner, Maz, I remember phoning him up in 2003. I had a flat that I was buying in Burton-on-Trent. I thought, well, what did he think of this? I thought, well, I'm getting it at a bit of a discount. What do you think about me buying this, Maz? And he had to look at the rent, and he said, no, I don't think it's a good deal, but I bought it anyway. So back then, I think I bought that for about 130, and then it was valued a couple of years, about a year later, because prices were growing at like 150 and then up to 180. So although it wasn't the best deal for rents in the world, it was I had good capital growth, but my business partner Maz was more interested in buying a small terrace in Levenshulme, Manchester for 80-90 grand and renting it out to 4 or 5 Polish guys or something. His mortgage was 300 and his rent was 1100. So, but his property only went up like about 20 grand. So, so I bought some right properties, some wrong properties, still doing it. Letting agents, I've changed letting agents 6 or 7 times, right? So I've had all sorts of things happen with me at time. One time I've been robbed by letting agents, yeah. So when I first started out, I went with a letting agent called A1 Properties in Connors Quay. They went bust. And I think they robbed all of the deposits, which I had to pay back. So I've had that happen to me. I think that's happened to people that I know. I then went with another letting agent. He went bust and he pocketed some rents and pocketed some deposits. After that, I then learned a lesson, which was don't just go with any old letting agent. Yeah. I then sort of went with a big letting agency for a while, because I was so busy sourcing properties, building a business, and that was taking up my time. And I really needed someone to help with my letting agent. So I went with a good letting agent based in Ellesmere Port. They looked after my portfolio for a while, and but they then didn't have the hunger when the properties were coming empty. They were staying empty for a bit too long, right? So then I brought it in house. And that worked well for a while. But you know, I kind of had a couple of staff, you know, they came, and then they kind of didn't, you know, they got it up to a level. So my rents went up from about 32 grand a month to about 36 grand a month, you know, from my portfolio. And I thought that wasn't good enough. And now I've kind of got a mix. I've got my rents managed. I've got a member of my staff called Chris and his wife Meg. They're amazing at looking after rental properties. So now I've got my rents are around 46, 50 grand a month, because they're amazing at what they do. So over that time, you know, I've been robbed by agents, ripped off with repairs, guys going out to repair boilers. And, you know, they spend 500 quid on trying to repair a boiler before they then say that, you know, they're going to have to replace the boiler and it's going to be another 3 grand. So I've now got a building team that I rely on. I've got letting agents rely on. I've lost income. So, you know, all of these things can happen. I say I've now got a great team I trust who've got my back and they make me the most money ever. So, you know, I've now got a building teams in different parts of the country. My main team in Manchester, they go everywhere for me. I've got HMOs in Loughborough, they go and look after that. They'll do some refurbs in Leicestershire. I've got properties there. And I've got some builders in London I can rely on, and I've got good letting agents. But, you know, I've had teething troubles throughout my time. But, you know, they don't have the time or the expertise to do everything. So I still need to rely on people. So we're buying HMOs now. My letting agents, it's not quite what they like to do. So I'm working with other agents who haven't worked with for 5 or 10 years and built that trust. And I have to, you know, get the, you know, leverage their expertise. So I'm always weighing up situations, making decisions, what to do, with whom to do it, and what to pay. And it's part of the course. Okay, so hopefully now, after 18 years in the business, I've learned to, you know, I'm lucky that I've got a good team behind me, but I'm still weighing up, making decisions about what properties to buy, you know, which builders to do the HMOs, with letting agents to help them out, and I'm always making decisions like that. So that's my history, right? Okay. And one of the topics today is how to avoid paying too much for a property. I know that it's probably easier said than done. I'm having discussions with my supposedly experienced sales team, you know, valuers, all the time about valuations for properties and what we should pay for. So it's not it's easier than it looks, but, you know, there are obviously some things that you can do to make sure that you get it right more often than not. Okay, so I have this comment, you know, my throwaway comment is you make your money when you buy. Now, there's a lot of, you know, what do I mean by that? Well, you know, if a property's worth 100 grand, you buy it for 80 grand. You know, you're making your money when you buy. Now, you know, there's a lot of people buying properties on the market now where they're being gazumped. You know, they're having to, you know, properties on the market for 100 grand, you're having to buy for 105. But you know, that my strategy has always been about making money when you buy and buying at a discount. Make sure that you lock in your profit from day one. However, that strategy is not necessary, you know, especially if you're turning a 2-bed, you know, terrace house into a 4 or 5 bed HMO. You can add the value, and you might have to pay market price, but, you know, that's what I do. So if you're making your money when you buy, and you know, you're looking at, you know, what price to pay for the property, I kind of thought, you know, if you've got a property that's worth about 200 grand when it's done up, and the refurb cost is going to cost you 20 grand, then what price should you pay for it? So, you know, I think then it comes down to, like, you know, what's your objective? Are you looking to doing a buy to let? You're just going to buy it and flip it? You're going to turn it into a HMO, and all of those things might affect whether, you know, how much you pay it for. So if you, for instance, you know, you're happy to do a buy to let or a flip, you might want to think, well, if I'm buying a property for 200 grand and the refurb costs are 20 grand, then you've got your stamp duty and your buying costs, let's just call that another 10 grand. Then in effect, it's only worth 170 in real money, isn't it? You know, because it's, you know, going to cost you 30 grand. So you really don't want to be paying more than 170. So as a buy to let, you know, you might be happy to pay 160, 170 for that, you know, and you think, okay, buy it, you do it up to a nice standard, you know, you've got a deal. Maybe that's a good price, who knows? If you're doing it as a flip, you obviously want to make some money. So if you're doing it as a flip and it's basically cost, you know, it's only worth 160, 170 as it is, you know, 200 grand and up, then you've got to build in your profit, and then you've got to build in a bit of risk. You know, is it going to sell for 190 or is it going to sell for 210? Who knows? So I then say, well, you then need to knock off what you're going to pay for it to build in your profit and offset your risk. So if it's worth 160, 170, you want to make 20 grand profit, 140, and then 10 grand off of the risk, 130. So so then you start off at 130, don't you? And you make sure that, like, you know, if you're going to start off at 130, you know, depending on where you're sourcing your deals from, you might have to, you know, it's a numbers game. You might have to put offers in on 20 deals to get them at that price. But that's the way that we work back and do our numbers on buy to lets and flips. So buy to let, you might offer 160, flip 130, 140. As a HMO, if you, like, you know, you buy it, it's worth 170, it needs a bit of doing up and you're going to add value to it. So you're going to turn it to a 2-bed to a 4-bed HMO, and maybe you can sell it for 10 times the rent because of the yields, and it's, you know, it'll sell for 250 to 300, which is what a lot of people do. And maybe you'll pay market price and maybe you'll pay 170 for it. So it all depends on what your objective is. Buy to let, flip, HMO. A few examples. Right, guys, so how do you start with valuing a property? So I kind of keep it simple, really. If you you know, I think for most people, I think when I get a valuation from some people who send me these Zoopla vals, and I kind of avoid them like the clappers, really. So I just do all my valuations on Rightmove. So on Rightmove, you've got Rightmove, the current properties that are on the market. So you search for the 3-bedroom semi, put the postcode in, and maybe you open it up a quarter of a mile, just see what's on the market, sold subject to contract, check the floor plans, check the condition versus yours, and just see what the worth currently as they stand. You can click on Rightmove sold prices, put the postcode in, and you can see what's sold on that particular street recently or within a quarter of a mile again. So what they're on the market for, what they've sold for, there might be a bit of a gap, gives you an idea. You know, they're on the market for 200, they've been selling for 180, 190, so they're worth about that. And then there's some other tools that you might not be aware of with Rightmove that we've got access to. So we've got Rightmove Plus, which gives you the best price guide, but also a survey evaluation tool. So we can pay anywhere between 10, 20 quid for a proper survey valuation tool on Rightmove. So I'm not sure if people are aware of this or not, but some of the lenders at the minute, because the property market's hot and the surveyors are busy, they'll go on Rightmove, use the surveyor's valuation tool, the SVT, and they'll do a desktop valuation. It'll bring up all the comparables, what they've been valued for before by agents, floor plan, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. It gives you the whole shoot and match for your property and comparables. And then it'll tell you what it thinks the properties are valued at. And that allows a lot of lenders to do desktop valuations for mortgage offers and home buyers surveys. So sometimes they don't even need to go and have a look at the property. So if anybody wants to know a little bit more about Rightmove, but basically Rightmove is a one-stop shop for valuation. So if you're doing desktop valuations, as long as you know the floor plan, you know the condition, you really only need to use Rightmove, and all the tools are there. Now, the other thing is, I know it's a simple thing, but the best local agents. So, you know, if you've got a property in Liverpool, sometimes you can see a property selling for 60 grand and then they're selling for 100 grand. And, you know, one road might be, you know, I don't know, full of housing benefit people and have some, you know, issues with it. Another road might be, you know, good to go. It's up and coming. There's a lot of investors, professionals in there. So you want to always check with a good local agent as well. Somebody who's got properties on that road for sale, or they've sold on that road recently, or at least they've got lots of similar properties on the market within a quarter of a mile, and to talk to them about your property in your road. You know, hey mate, if I brought this property to you, what do you think you could sell it for in the current market? Because they're showing people around lots of other properties in that area. They'll have buyers on waiting lists. They'll know what prices buyers are paying. They'll know whether those roads are a bit iffy, or that whether they're all right, or if there's any sort of coal mining issues, anything, they'll know. So always choose Rightmove, speak to the best local agent, and that'll give you as much accuracy as you can kind of possibly get. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, but that's just simple stuff, but it's just, you know, it'll see you right if you do it. Okay, so Rightmove, that give you the current prices, sold prices, the best price guide, which you can get on Rightmove Plus, just shows you if people have put properties on the market and they've sold or not sold. So, and then the surveyor's valuation tool, great stuff. And the best local agent who's got properties on the market within a quarter of a mile, not if they've got properties on the market, you know, a mile away. It's just not close enough, really. So they've got buyers, they've got precise local knowledge. But even with all of this, you can't win all of the time. You know, we didn't buy it. We did a delayed exchange contract on a bungalow because we weren't sure what it would sell for, and we needed to spend 30 grand on a refurb. So rather than buy it, we exchanged contracts, and then we did the refurb, and we made, you know, from our 30 grand out, we got 50 grand back. And the estate agents and all the valuation tools said this property is going to sell for 300, 320. But in the end, it only sold for 270. So even with all of that knowledge, you can still get it wrong, guys. So you can't get it right all of the time. And so just beware of that when you're making your offers. Okay, so that's about how to avoid paying too much for property. So if you've got any deals that you want us to have a look at, you can, you know, I get some of our the guys who are mentoring, they'll email me over, you know, a property to have a look at, and they say it's a HMO, and I'll just have a look at that for them. And I'll just maybe go on spareroom.com, make sure that there's rental demand there, that they've got the room rents right, and just have a quick check for them at the prices that they're paying versus the comparables. And I'm kind of used to doing it in 20 minutes. I can probably tell them if they're doing the right thing. If you've got property you want us to have a look at, put the link in there in the comments below, or reach out to us. We'll be happy to give you our thoughts on it. Hope that helps. So what else are we going to talk about? So this is one that so Raj always goes on, you know, talks a lot about, is, you know, why you shouldn't just buy property in your local area. I've kind of got mixed, you know, views on that myself, really. Obviously, if you buy property in your local area, you know the roads well, you know the local letting agents well, your local builders are going to be on tap so you can get cheap boiler repairs, cheap repairs. So all of that's good, but you will miss out on other things. So if you look at property prices since the credit crunch, or go back in time a bit, and you look at London and Manchester, how London's recovered and the Southeast recovered since 2008, and how Manchester maybe recovered slower than London, but, you know, really rapidly recovered in 2015, and how house prices have maybe trebled in London since, or gone up 2.5 times since 2008, and how property prices in Manchester have doubled since 2015. You look at Liverpool and Newcastle, and they haven't quite done that. Yeah, so, you know, so Liverpool's hot now, but a lot of places are hot. Supply and demand, 95%, help to buy mortgages, stamp duty holidays and all that. So you're going to get a bit of, you're getting a bit of a lift all over. I think when I looked at an article recently, Wallasey Birkenhead was one of the top increases in the country, 15%. But for years and years and years, they were stagnant. So my business partner bought in Manchester, and his prices doubled. Yeah, I bought a lot of mine in Wirral and Liverpool, and they haven't quite doubled. They've gone up, say, 30%. So, so what's the point of that? When you're buying property, yeah, if you're buying them in your local area, you need to, you need to weigh that up over the long term. You might get more growth in some places outside your local area than where you're buying. So it's always a view, really. So local area, and maybe if you bought in London, you get higher capital growth over the long term. Who knows? Another thing is yields, and rental profits versus growth. So obviously we've got investors coming out of our ears who've got equity from properties they bought in London and the southeast, and they're chasing rental yields now because the prices aren't really going up for a lot of the properties in London. Some of them they are, but not, they can't get the yields on them. It's all right buying a, £300,000-400,000 house, but if you're renting it out for £1,500 a month, the yields aren't there, and not everybody wants HMOs. So, some people just want an easy life. So then so they're buying properties in Liverpool and Manchester and other places up north to chase yield, aren't they? Some of them are chasing, HMOs, like 4 beds, getting, property for 100 grand, renting it out for, 1,300 quid a month. They're chasing 10-15% yields. Some of them just want, 7-8% yields so that they can buy something for 70 to 90 grand and rent them out for £600 a month or whatever. So some people want rental yields and some people want growth, and some people look at locations. So for me, I've got properties all over the place. I've got some in London. I've got one in Bracknell. I've got some in Loughborough. I've got some in Lincolnshire, some in Liverpool. And, so I get, a different balance of growth in them places, but I have to swap that with a bit of hassle where the building team can't fly over to Lincoln on the drop of a hat, and they need to go over there when they've got time. So my properties might be empty for a little bit, or the repairs stack up, and it's a trade-off. Another thing's affordability, house prices and deposits. It's obviously, if you're buying a £300,000 buy-to-let in London, you're going to have to put a big deposit in. If you're buying an 80 grand buy-to-let in Liverpool, you don't. How much money have you got versus, to buy outside your area versus in your area? And obviously, a big thing for me and a big thing for most people is, have you got a trusted builder who's going to, do your refurbs and repairs cheap? I've got a property in Bracknell. My builder's also a Corgi registered gas guy. But we used a local gas guy recently when I had a boiler issue, because my builder was busy. He couldn't go down there. So the letting agent got a local gas guy in. He spent I think he spent about 400 quid, replacing circuit boards or whatever it is, nozzles or whatever he was doing on it. That didn't work. And then he came back and said, look, it's going to cost, 2.5 grand to replace the boiler. So, my builder would have went down there, he would have looked at that, and he would have looked at the boiler, not done the repairs, just replaced the boiler for 800 quid. But he would have had to leave from Manchester and go down to Bracknell to do it. So, it's a trade-off. Sometimes you get lucky, or other times you've got to consider that. So if you've got properties outside your area, you need a trusted builder, especially when it comes to boilers. And if you're buying, refurbing and selling, becomes more important, because you don't want to spend 30 grand on a refurb. If you can get a trusted builder to do it for 15, you're just not going to make a profit. So what else is why you should just buy property in your local area? Buying and managing HMOs, so HMOs, you may or may not be able to buy them in your area or afford them in your area. But, you know, if you're going to be buying them outside your area, you're buying them in places like Hull or Liverpool, you're chasing yields, you need to be very careful about what's the bricks and mortar valuation, in comparison to commercial valuations. If a lot of people are paying over the odds, something that bricks and mortar valuation might be 100, 120 grand, and you might be paying 160, 180 because it's rented out as a HMO. You know, just be mindful that in order for you to maintain that valuation difference and that that kind of extra equity, you need to manage the HMO well. You need to make sure it's that you've got to let an agent's going to keep it fully occupied and in great condition. Otherwise, if you then come unstuck and you're going to sell it, you're going to lose a lot of money if you've overpaid to buy a HMO. But if you're good at it and you buy a cheap property, like I'm buying one in Liverpool at the minute for 95 grand, it's going to cost us about 30 grand to convert it from a 2-bed to a 5-bed HMO. And so that's going to be all in, say, 130, 140 grand. And they're selling for 200 grand. Some of them on the roads, 180 to 200 grand is a really high quality 4-bed HMO let out for 2 grand a month. So, you can do it, but you need to have the expertise and the skills to do that. So I think for most people, to wrap it up, really, so why you shouldn't just buy property in your local area. There's some reasons why, yield, HMOs, deposits that you need to get, yield versus growth. But for a lot of people, it's about this, really. It's peace of mind, your attitude to risk. A lot of people think, if it's not on their patch, it's a risk. And they don't want to be worrying about it. But then what's your experience? What's your power team? I've got a team of builders. I've got a team of letting agents. I don't see any of my properties. I think I've got 98 in my portfolio now. I can't remember the last time I went to have a look, and I'm only bothered about looking at how much rent I'm making each month and how much my repair costs are, and are they right? And if they are, great. I couldn't give a monkey's where they are, really. And some of the properties have gone up and shot up, like in Bracknell. It's worth a lot more than the properties that have gone up in Birkenhead. So I wouldn't have got that if I just bought in Cheshire or the Wirral. And if you're holding for 10 or 25 years and you've got your power team and you're happy to buy, understand if you've got a portfolio spread up and down the country, you're going to make more on capital growth, I'd say. Some people are coming to me, investors who are selling portfolios. They bought some properties in the southeast and Norfolk and Suffolk. They've gone up 2.5 times, and they're giving me portfolios in Newcastle that are worth like maybe 10 grand more than what they bought them for 20 years ago. So you just got to be aware of all of that. Okay, so I hope that helps. Why you shouldn't just buy property in your local area. I think that on the end of it, the last point is where you're sourcing your deals. So I get deals all over the country and I pick and choose the best ones. If you're just working with your local estate agents, you're only going to get deals in your area. So depending on where you're sourcing your deals from, will depend on whether you're just buying properties in your area or not. Hope that makes sense. Does that make sense, Chris?
Absolutely. I mean, that was ram-packed full of information. The knowledge that you've got, my friend, is incredible. And I think people who are working with you, the mentees and so on, are getting a lot of, it's the experience. It's not just the knowledge. When people are working with you, knowledge is one thing. They say knowledge is power, but it's the experience as well of knowing the common mistakes and pitfalls, and avoiding those can make you more money than just even buying property in the first place.
Well, let's say, I've been doing it 20 years, probably make less mistakes now than I did at the beginning, but as I say, you can't learn to ride a bike. But that's, if you were to just, just save that slide, and that would be, that would probably tick all of the boxes, really. But if you've got any questions about an area that you're looking to buy or whatever, or you want that peace of mind, reach out to us and maybe we can add some meat on the bones to your deal and give you that reassurance or whatever. I've got one of my mentees at the minute. He's buying a property in Sheffield. We ain't too sure about it. He hasn't got enough money to buy it. It could be a HMO, so I'm helping him with it. He's got a builder to go and look at it today. when the builder comes back, he's going to have the refurb costs. We're going to know what the end value is after they've done the refurb, and it's near the tram line. Sheffield's got tram lines that really help you rent properties out as HMOs in a kind of wider area. And he might buy it, and with the cash he's got available, I might fund the refurb. So that's the kind of thing that we'll do when people know their onions, they're working with us. So we'll do a JV with them on that. So we'll be looking at all of these things on this list before we decide whether we're going to do the deal. We'll be going through all of that as we live and breathe it, and we'll be making a decision what price will, because that's going through one of these modern auctions in Sheffield. We're saying, right, okay, the guy's in it at 90. Once we've got all of the information, what price are we going to bid up to? Maybe 110, maybe 120. And we'll leave it at that, and we'll see whether, I'll let you know in a week or two how we got on. Right, so I think one of the other things is, how can you avoid empty properties? I don't think you can avoid it, yeah, but I've got 98 properties in my portfolio, and at any point in time, I might have 5 empties. The worst case scenario, you might have 10. The best case scenario, you might have 2 or 3, yeah. So you're never going to have it 100%, except every blue moon, but how can you best avoid having portfolios, with too many empty properties in? So some simple things. One, always buy properties in the right areas. So if you've got, you don't want to be buying a property in a shameless housing estate in Manchester where everybody's on, housing benefits, and if your property's empty, they're dumping all of the bedspreads and all of that on your garden path, yeah, which happens, yeah. So you want to best that you can just buy properties in areas that they're just obviously nice areas. You have a look up and down the street, the nice areas, yeah. There's good rental demand, and good rental demand from private tenants, and you can get a good letting agent. That's probably number one. Property comes on the market, even in a strong market where people want to buy, people want to let, and there will always be a good demand for it as long as it's in good condition. Okay. When you buy a property, do it up to a good condition from the start. You'll attract the right tenant then, yeah. So don't just like maybe a good tenant wants to live in a good house or whatever, and they'll look after it. If you shortchange yourself and you just whack it on the market to let it out, and you get somebody who's like, that mindset, happy to live there, you might just have trouble. So do them up to a good standard right at the very start. And always do this, absolutely do this. And make sure if some people let them out themselves, yeah. I don't. I get my letting agent now. And I've had the problems before where we didn't do this, but my letting agents now, they do the credit checks. They always ask for a guarantor. And our insurance company, which I didn't ask them for this part of the product on top of my insurance, but I get it now, is if a tenant absconds, doesn't pay the rent, trashes the property, the insurance covers the refurb. So if you do those 3 things, right? So you buy in the right areas, do them up to a good standard, and then you put the tenants in with credit checks, guarantees, and insurance. You can't really go wrong, yeah. Obviously, you need good letting agents, good builders to do all of that. I've also come and stuck with, agents who will say, like, guys, if you got, the tenants moving out of this 1 or 2 weeks, is it on the market? Rather than wait until the bloody place is empty before you put it on the market, get it on the market now, get the demand in, get the tenants lined up so that they can go and have a look at it as soon as you've done a quick tidy up, lick of paint or whatever you need to do, and get it let straight away. I know it's obvious, but people don't do it. So anyway, so I think that's what you can do to avoid having empty properties. If that makes sense, Chris. Yeah.
Perfectly. Yeah. Very, very helpful. So, all right. So we're going to take some questions now as well. So if anybody's got any questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll go through those right now if they're up in the next 5 minutes. Failing that, still put your questions in there. We'll get it answered over the next few days whenever you're watching this on the replay, because this is going to be available for weeks and months to come as well. But I suppose just a quick commercial break is, why are we doing this? Why are we advertising, or why are we spending so much time giving so much value to you guys? Well, I mean, ultimately, we've got a lot of knowledge to share, and commercially, we want to grow the business. We want to get even bigger. We want to scale this more, and we can't do that on our own. We want to work with investors, and help more people get more established with their properties. So there's a lot of older investors now that are looking to exit the marketplace. So we're able to sell their properties. So dependent on who you are, where you're watching this now, you might be somebody looking to sell your properties. If that's the case, reach out to us. We can help you. If you're looking to buy properties, reach out to us. We can help you. If you're looking to just JV, because we know what we're talking about, if you just want to put your money into a deal, then we can potentially talk to you about that as well, because we've got a lot of deals coming up. There's only so many we can do on our own at any one time. So if you want to be involved, if you want to get, share the knowledge, the skills and the resources, just drop your comments below, reach out to us. Let's have a conversation via Messenger first of all, and then we'll jump on a quick call. I'm around all day today, and let's see how we can help each other. So, there's a lot of opportunity right now. I know people who are struggling because prices are going up right now. And as David was saying, people are getting gazumped as well. So people are having to pay more than market price. So how do you get the discounted price? Well, David's just talking about one that is buying right now. There's a potential 60 to 80K in there in profits. Isn't that right, Dave?
Yeah, so that's where we've got sellers coming to us direct and we can do a deal so that they're not on market. So we're buying that for 95. That would be a deal normally, Chris, where the seller says happy with 95, we'd sell it to an investor for 110 or whatever, and we'd make say 15 grand out of it. But we've even seen the value of what's going on in the market. We're seeing the fact that there's a lot of investment going into Liverpool, Hong Kong buyers, London buyers chasing pushing up those prices in those streets for high quality HMOs. You sell it for 180 to 200. So, we said, just, sod it, we'll buy that one. We'll do that one ourselves. And we're responding to the market. I've just been speaking to Phil, one of our mentees this morning, who's like, I do once I've got up, done my 5 a.m. club and I'm finished at 6, I jump on the phone with some of our mentees. I was speaking to Phil. We got a property that one of our portfolio landlords put on the market today. I think it's down Ramsgate. It's a 7-bed HMO, but it's 3 flats, 3 beds and 2 2-beds. And if you look at that property and it's on, as it is, I think the rent's about 1,700 quid a month. But that landlord, he wants to get out of the market now. He's like, he's served his time as a landlord. Yeah, he was investing in the early 2000s. Now he wants to retire. So we're helping him sell properties like that. We've got investors who want them. Phil's interested in that. He can see some potential for an end value as a big HMO. Maybe you can get 10, 12 beds in it. Maybe as a holiday let, because there's it's near the seaside or whatever. So he's doing his homework on that. He's a builder. He'll be able to look at that. I advised him, said look, well, check out, check out the floor plans, check out what value you want to add to it, what you think the rent's going to be. Be confident with that. Speak to the local council. It's free. Just make sure that the plans that you've got, they would, entertain a HMO there or a holiday let there. And then if you really wanted to buy it, it could be well, you buy it in an SPV. Richard last week was talking about how you can buy an SPV and get basically deposits from investors. It's if you haven't got all the deposit on that, maybe, if we're happy with your, future added value, what your objectives are for the property, we might fund some or all of that deposit. We'll do a deal, we'll agree a deal with the seller if if you want to buy it, and we might do the deposit. So they're the kind of things that we'll do all the time. All right. And if people want to check out the properties, all of our A-list investors, we've got about 9,000 of them. Depending on what areas and what types of properties they're looking for, when a property goes on the market, they get text and an email and alert, some off market, some recently on. And we're selling some of these properties in just a few days to our investors. Say, look, how much to take it off market? So they don't have to go to auction. As long as the seller's happy with the price they're getting in return for the committed, serious buyers, not going to mess about, put the deposit down, take it off market. We're doing deals all day, every day. Okay. I think there was another point. I think we got a little bit of time, Chris. This kind of slide, I think this is the last slide, isn't it? Or I've got a couple of slides to go through. We'll get through them and see if there's any questions. But ways to deal with problem tenants and how to avoid bad tenants. So we work with so all of our landlords who have got problems with tenants, including myself, we work with Paul Champlina, who's he's like the evictions guy on Channel 4, slum tenants, rogue landlords. Yeah. So if you Google Paul Champlina, Landlord Zone, everything they do is set up to help landlords. Yeah. We work with them. They have a mediation service. So if we try to talk to tenants or the letting agents we haven't got anywhere, they have a mediation service. They help with evictions. They help with all kinds of tools, techniques, insurance, and all of that. So we've got a setup with Landlord Zone, mediation, and an experienced letting agency. So all of those three things help us avoid problems with tenants. Okay. One of the other ways to avoid problems with tenants is make sure that they don't become problem tenants in the first place. So make sure all your tenants, credit checks, guarantors, like I mentioned on the previous slide. Some people would, desperate to rent out a property, maybe when the market isn't so good, and they'll take a tenant on with no deposit or whatever it is. But I'd say no, charge them a month and a half deposit, charge a bigger deposit, maybe do all of that and get references from previous letting agents and landlords for the tenants, and take your time to find the best tenant. But do all of that. Don't have it empty for 2 months doing it. Get it rented out in 2 weeks. Just have your perfect scenario, really, to find good tenants. But if you end up with a bad one, then you have landlords on mediation, experienced agents who can help with you. But you're unlikely to get them if you do all of these things. So if you do checks, and then the other thing, I was told some business partner Maz, yesterday, he had 100 properties, but 50 or 60 of those properties were never any problems at all. So he didn't review every single property every single month. He knew that 60 of them just paid. So he only checked the properties and the tenants that he knew with trouble. So you don't, if you're a busy guy, just focus on the ones where, where's he up to with his rent? I know there's a problem with damp in that one, or it's a leaky tap, or the boiler, I'm getting a bit of hassle. So just focus your time on where it's needed. So, you don't need to focus your time on the okay tenants, just focus on the problem ones. Take your time to find the best tenants. But I'd say if you've got a good quality property and you do all of the above, you're going to have less problems. Okay. And I think this is my final slide, Chris, which I think we were talking about why you shouldn't try to do everything yourself, because I know a lot of people do at the start. Some people I've got speaking to Phil this morning, he's living in his own refurb on a mattress in the living room. Yeah, so he's a builder. He's doing everything himself. Yeah. And that's the way people start until you've got a big, slowly but surely he's getting a team. He's got a Sparky, he's got a boiler guy. So he's extending that out. Sooner or later, he'll have letting agents and he won't be renting things out. So sooner you start off doing everything yourself, more or less. My first refurb when I worked for Mars was I bought a property in Loughborough to rent out as a HMO. I took a couple of the technicians who were on my shift up there who did building work in when they were off shift. So I took them up. We stayed for during, we used to work 7 on 5 off. Then we'd stay overnight for 3-4 nights buying fish and chips. We'd live in the house and we'd do everything ourselves. And then so I didn't do the lettings myself, but but I did do a lot of work for myself. But what I found over my time, and especially now, is like And I don't know whether I use this as a throwaway comment. I've been watching that much TV, Disney Plus, Netflix now, and I've watched nearly every single Agents of Shield film, Chris. Yeah, and I kind of matched that to life, right? So every person I know in my team and in my business, they're all amazing at one thing, right? They might be good at lots of things, but they're absolutely amazing at good things. My business partner, Maz, is amazing at making sure he manages his properties for the least cost. He's got his brother as a corgi guy. He gets it. He keeps on top of his tenanted portfolio without spending too much money, and he manages his own lets. Whereas I don't like doing that, and I'm great at sourcing deals, doing JVs. So I've got builders who are great at things that they do. So every person I know has got an Agent of Shield superhero skill. Richard's amazing, and we heard from last week, a financer, knowing the finance. So I think if you've got a team of experts around you, amazing at something, why on earth would you do something yourself if you've got somebody in your team who's amazing at that? Chris is amazing at doing Facebook Lives, aren't you, Chris? Eh?
Some would say.
Pulling all that together. So use your superhero skills at what you do best and enjoy. So, if you want to live a happy life, don't do something you don't enjoy. I can't stand talking to tenants. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Tenants phoning me up asking me about gas fires and boilers, not what I want to do. I want to be talking to investors about doing deals. So I'm going to use my skills at doing things that I do best so I can enjoy my life, right? So if you put that all together, you get a better job done through the experts. Hopefully you'll make more money by getting a better job done quicker. Your mental health, which is a big thing at the moment. Yeah, if you're doing things that you're not enjoying and you're not making any money, your mental health will suffer. If you're doing things you are enjoying and you're making more money and you get a good work-life balance because you're not doing things you're not good at and you don't enjoy, that's why you don't do everything yourself. I find, all you then need to do is these people will pay for themselves. You just negotiate the best deal so that they pay for themselves. You leverage their skills, and you focus on what you're good at to make money from what you enjoy doing. And depending on, last but not least, really, is if, when I've got this in my own business, scale it up. I've gone from, buying one buy-to-let to having 100. And now I've got a auction business that sells hundreds of properties a year. I can only do it through not doing everything myself. So I've got people involved in marketing. I've got a full-time bookkeeper. I've got salespeople. I've got solicitors. I've got everything. But I still do some jobs myself that I'm trying to manage myself out of. I do a lot of the sales progression myself at the minute, getting deals over the line and overcoming all the problems that you get with those deals in order to get the money in is not an easy task. So you've got to wear an investor's hat on, you've got to wear a broker's hat, a conveyancer's hat. So my experience of doing 2,500 deals allows me to overcome problems that other people can't easily spot the solution for. But I've got to manage myself out of that one day. Why have I got to manage myself out of that? Because if I want to scale up and double my business, which I'm doing, I can't do it all. So I've got to find the people to do it. So therefore, I want to find the right people. I want to make sure that I've got the right tech in place, the right people, so we get the productivity, so we can double the business, double our deals without doubling the staff. So I'm looking to do all of that. Maybe I'd like to sell the business and retire in 5 years' time. So therefore, you've got to put all of the people in, all the systems in place, and it not rely on me and not rely on you, if that's something that you want to do. Yeah, so that's why you shouldn't want to do everything yourself. Obviously, if you want to stay small, stay local, and then that's one way. But if you want to scale up, get productivity, sell your business and retire, and make a few million quid, that's not the way to do it, is it? So you've got to start doing all of the above before you can do the bottom one. And hopefully, that depends on if that's your goal in life, which is mine. So, Chris, I don't know if we got any questions, but that's me finished rabbiting on, going through all of the ins and outs of all of that.
That's been fantastic, Dave. So, well, thanks for your insights again. I always love doing these because I learn so much myself as well. So I suppose for those people that are watching now, there's a lot of benefit from what you've covered today. And I think one of the key messages is you can't do things on your own. So we are here to help. We've got all of the power team that you need in place. We've got access to properties. If all you want to do is just buy properties, just go onto the website, have a look. We've got the up-to-date property listings there. But we do get a lot of off-market deals as well that for whatever reason, investors don't want advertising. So if you really want to get the inside track, then that's the people that are working with us closely on our mentorship program. And there's a number of different ways of financing that. There's a number of different ways and different levels indeed to get involved. So if you want to work with Dave and the team, just drop a comment below. Just say that you're interested, and every comment I'll respond to. What I'll do is I'll send you a message, a private message through Facebook, which, because if we're not friends, may just go straight into your, it's like a spam folder. It's called message requests folder. I don't know where to find it on a mobile. It's easier on a laptop, but I'll put my link in there. So in fact, I'll put my link under there anyway, that if you click on that, you can just go straight in and send me a message. And let's just have a communication. Let's have a chat through Messenger initially, and then maybe we'll jump on a call, and we're here to help. So there's a number of ways that we can help. So whether you want to buy a property, just do it on your own. Whether you want to sell a property or a portfolio, if you want to get help and privately mentored by Dave, or even if you just want to take on board some education and so on, there's a whole raft of things that we've got out there. So use the knowledge that we've got. Don't try and do it on your own. And you can get this to the level that you want it to be, no matter where you're starting from. So, don't wait to buy property and wait, as Raj says many times. And now is always the best time. So take massive action. Let's jump into this. Don't be procrastinating. Don't be thinking about things for a long time. JFDI, which stands for just do it.
So, all right, Chris. Any more?
I think we're all good for now. So a couple of questions that I've responded to, but yeah, we're all good. So drop your questions below, and I'll be around all day. So if you want to jump on a call, I'm more than happy to do that 5-10 minutes later on today. So
okay, great. So all right, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for putting it together, Chris. Reach out, guys, if you want us to look at any deals, help you in any way. Just let us know. Reach out, and then myself and Chris can chat to you anytime. Have a fabulous weekend. All right.
Awesome. Cheers, Dave. Take care.
Luke.
Bye bye.